Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be an analysis of some of the more popular futures markets out there for day traders. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. One bit of clarification, I'll be using the 1 hour time frame, so if you're a beginner to charts, what that means is each one of these candlesticks here represents 60 minutes worth of time. So things finally seem to be trying to level out here. I mean, it was still a crazy day nonetheless, and I should note that I am talking about the NQ here. And as a reminder, even if you just trade the MNQ, they mirror image one another. So what I talk about here, you could apply over to the MNQ. But, the markets here, at least the NQ, finally did start to, show a little bit of sideways action here, which now gives us a hint into where some bounce points could be next week. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust this level down now that we have more data. I think that 20,480 mark will certainly be watched. Is it going to be exactly spot on that area? Of course not. There's no spot on moments, but just broadly speaking, looking down here, you can see that this does now seem to be an area where people are willing to step up and buy and provide support. So will that last into next week? Is this sideways movement here just a bit of a temporary kind of consolidation before another flush? That all remains to be seen. But as of right now, it's going sideways, which at least suggests the possibility that perhaps the selling pressure is finally done and this thing's going to try to make a move back upwards, especially when you have late day today, the price making a very nice attempted move back in the bullish direction here. But nonetheless, going into next week, 2480 and then 2350 will be the two near term areas of support. In terms of areas of resistance, the levels that I talked about previously are still holding, namely right there, that red line at 2790. Granted, the price is very close to it, did break above it, but got rejected back down. So in the very near term, keep an eye on 790. And then in terms of areas of resistance, I talked about that purple line, and that's exactly why. I talked about it in previous videos, right there, smack the price back down. So you want to watch that. And then if the price can push above that purple line, next key level would then be up there around the 21,000 mark. So keep an eye on those couple areas here. Or the other question, I'm just wondering, do we enter into some big old chop fest where the price just now kind of chops around? I'm very curious about that from a trading standpoint and want to be very careful of that because, you don't want to find yourself getting chopped to pieces. But it seems like a possibility, but we got some sideways movement, and we'll see if that carries in the next session or not. Next one here, we are looking at the ES, and the ES made a much more emphatic statement compared to the NQ, but nonetheless, it is pushing upwards. It's trying to make a run, and as of right now, it's having some success, especially when you consider that not that long ago, the price was all the way down here, and now it's been able to battle back. But is this going to be able to sustain itself? I think that's the question on a whole lot of people's minds, and why, in my opinion at least, the key level of support, so let me change that to green for support, going to be right down here around, 58, we'll call it 58.90, and no fancy reason other than the fact of if the price were to come down here and then break down below it, what would that be doing to the price? That would be putting the price right back inside of this range right here. And I mean, not to insult your intelligence, but price movements with genuine power don't make great moves and then go right back to where they started. So again, not saying that's what's going to occur, but that is why 58.90 I would consider a very important level of support going into next week. In terms of next potential battlegrounds, I could see this area up here, generally speaking, around the 59.90 mark, potentially serving up some problems. So we'll see what happens with that. But like I said, what makes this very interesting now going into next week is, very, very impressive movement. But is there genuine power behind it? Let's see if it can show us some signs of progress. Next one here, we are looking at the YM, and very, very emphatic move. We do have a little bit more data on the downside, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust this area of support down to that level right there, as that seems to be the most accurate area. Right there at about 43,165, you can see acted as support right there, and then support from earlier on in the session there. But overall, big bounce, and I think the question in most people's eyes are this. Can it actually get through? And let me squeeze this down because the price has, and I've been talking about this, but we've been stuck inside of the sideways channel with the top of the channel being right here at 43,920, give or take a little bit. I mean, you can see right there, rejected. And then check this out. Look right where it got rejected, right at that level. But also it was a double whammy of resistance because not only was the top of the channel there, the 200 period moving average was also there. So truly just a bad situation where you had all the stars align in the resistance standpoint, which did push the price back downwards. Now, that doesn't mean that the price can never get above 43.90. I'm just saying that this exact moment in time, yeah, things just lined up where it wasn't exactly the most ideal set of circumstances for the bulls. But nonetheless, from where it was to where it is right now, it certainly makes a more than valid question to throw. Okay, is the YM about to break through this very multiple day sideways channel pattern? So we'll see what happens with it. If it can come up there and break up through there, then valid to think that you probably have quite a few shorts with stop losses up around that area. So does it break right there, create upside buying pressure and momentum? We'll see what happens with it next week. But yes, knocking on the door of the upper part of the sideways channel. So we'll see what happens. Now moving into a different market, and the oil market, specifically crude. So taking a look here at CL. And overall, it's hanging in there. There's been some big swings, and yeah, it's pulled back a little bit here, but ultimately did put in a higher base. So we had a low there, and the lowest it could push down on that movement was right there. So if you envision these as stair-steps, you got some stair-steps progressing in the upwards direction. But I think the easiest way to just measure the current strength of the upwards move is let's just get ourselves a trend line in play. And you can see that trend line right there is doing it. Let me make it look a little bit different. There we go. So keep an eye on that. And as long as the price can maintain above there, then that is illustrating that the bulls are maintaining some sort of control and pushing the price back upwards. But if you're someone that is bearish and looking for some sort of short, I can definitely see those people saying, well, I think if the price breaks below that trend line, especially if it's a high volume break, I can see that thing drifting down to at least those lows. Again, no guarantees. That's why risk management matters. But I can certainly see shorts and bearish people watching that trend line for that reason. Just thinking that could potentially be the leading indicator for a bigger move to the downside. But as of right now, that trend line has done a good job of, forecasting where the buyers have stepped in. So we'll see if that can head into next week. In terms of areas of resistance, first key battleground to keep an eye. Now that I do that, yeah, I think it might actually. Let's try it right here. Oh yeah, very nice. There we go. So that trend line right there. Got to think a lot of people are watching it, so that'll be the initial key breakout point. But if the price breaks through there, don't get me wrong, that is a good thing. But I wouldn't get overly excited about it because not that far away. Then you'd have the pink line right there, the 200 period moving average up there at 70.69, which could prevent or could provide some bit of resistance and prevent any further upside momentum. But as of right now, have a nice little upwards channel. You do have some selling pressure. That's showing via the downtrending trend line, but this pattern is going to run out of space. So who is going to win the battle? Grab your popcorn for the next session. Now we're moving into the world of precious metals and specifically gold. So we're taking a look at GC, and the downwards pressure remains fully intact here on gold. There is quite a while where it could do no wrong and all it did was go up. Now the tides have turned and the bears are taking back over. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these lines here as I think they serve their purpose for now, and I want to try to keep this as clean as possible. But we've been tracking this trend line, and I want to continue to track it. So I'm just going to extend it out, and we'll see if it does come into play over the next couple sessions or not. But for me personally, yes, to give credit where credit's due, the price was at these lows, and it is bouncing here. But I'm not totally convinced by it because there's been dead cat bounces in the past. And maybe you would say, well, okay, what would take you to finally start to be convinced that maybe there's some genuine power? I want to see the price prove itself, and I'm defining proving itself as getting it above and staying above that trend line right there. So yes, it could keep on bouncing, but like I said, there is a nice bounce rolled back over. Oh, there is another nice bounce rolled back over. So again, that doesn't mean that this bounce is going to roll back over. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that if the price were to come up here and roll back over, I don't think anybody would necessarily be shocked by that because the price is currently in a downtrend. And that is why I would, just continue to watch that resistance line right there as the main battleground. So yeah, gold's trying to bounce here a little bit, but let's see if it can prove itself by pushing above that trend line in the next session. So that wraps up the analysis, and hopefully you already saw the link at the top of the screen the entire time, but if not, that will lead you to Take Profit Trader, which is the prop firm that I use for my futures trading. They have a great payout policy. They're very quick. You can request payments whenever you want, and they'll pay you the same day. So that in of itself, very, very attractive attribute. They allow people from pretty much around the world. Now, if you see your country on that list, sorry, you would not be able to use them. But if you don't see your country on that list, that's a good thing. That means you could gain access directly into the USA markets via the futures market. So make sure you check them out and use that link that you see there. That way you can get the current deal, which right now is 50% off all of their accounts. So definitely make sure to check them out. So thanks for watching. As always, if you appreciate these videos, hit that like button. And if you're looking for a super free and easy way to support the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Take care. Have a great weekend.